Hi guys, and welcome back to the full moon in Cancer, the wolf moon forecast video. I'm actually re-recording this intro. This is the second time to give you a quick heads up because you're going to hear another one later on. The second one was recorded earlier where I actually ended up talking about the LA fires and the deeper spiritual themes connecting to everything everyone's feeling right now and around that, and some other stuff happening around the world, like in the Middle East. And this wasn't something I originally planned to cover, but it felt very important in the moment because if you don't know, I actually live in Los Angeles. And in that section, I touched on how the fires relate to my November prediction video. If you watched that. If you haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend you watch it because it released in November after the election, but it talked about things coming in 2025 and even in further years. And I mentioned natural disasters at the beginning of 2025. I even mentioned some countries around the world going through total government collapse, instability, and new governments. And it's crazy because these themes ended up showing in my life the things I predicted way closer to home, which I did not expect, not just in LA, but my family is from the Near East, so there as well. So I talk about that, and the message goes deeper into collective consciousness, empathy, and how we're all spiritually linked during these times of challenge. So, since you're on this video and you're drawn to astrology for deeper spiritual insight, I encourage you to listen to that as well, because there's a lot of value there. And it wasn't planned, but it ended up going in that direction. And it kind of ties as well a little bit to the intensity of this wolf moon. So listen to that. And then after that, I'll be sharing the astrological forecast for the wolf moon, the full moon in Cancer, that's happening on January 13th and whose effect will last 4 days after. It's the first full moon of the year and it's a deeply emotional and transformative one. Before going into the all signs, I highly recommend you listen to the collective forecast of that as well, and then go ahead into your all signs. And remember to listen to your rising sign, your sun, and your moon, and prioritize your rising. Another announcement, we have picked the winners for the 30 subscriber giveaway. This is a new channel if you're new here, and I ran a special giveaway for that once we hit 30 subscribers. The winners are Adriano Oliveira 20111 and Heyrada 6653. Sorry if I was a bit slow reading that. If you guys are listening, you can go ahead and use the scheduling link for the 60-minute reading in my profile description and ignore the paying part since you've won this free 60-minute giveaway. If for some reason you have any problem with that, you can email me at hello@petramarani.com and we can arrange for your free reading that way. And, one of those winners actually commented 3 times. And so each additional comment counted as an additional entry. So that helped them win. That's something to keep in mind because going forward, I'll actually be choosing 1 winner per month. So it's going to be happening frequently, but just 1 winner per month. But that's going to give people plenty of chances to actually be able to win. To enter, you have to subscribe, and you have to comment subscribe because that helps me get notified of that. And every additional comment after that counts as an additional entry. So that can help you increase your chances of winning. And if you've already subscribed in the past, but you'd like to enter, just comment in general, and I will count that as an entry. And don't forget to check back in these videos. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, like, comment, and share if this video resonates, if you appreciate it, or if you want to see more content like this. It helps me know. And also, if you like it and you let me know too, that makes me really happy. It makes me feel good recording these. And if you have any questions as well, you can pop your questions, astrological questions or otherwise, into the comments below. And I always check them, even if it takes me a while to check them, but I do always check them. And so you will get a response. So go ahead, please enjoy the video. And sorry if I have been all over the place. It has been an absolutely insane week, which is also why this video is coming out later than intended. It's been an emotional week. And of course, my prayers go out to anyone who's been affected by these fires and also to anyone around the world who's affected by anything, whether it's war or natural disaster, just life, everything. This is an incredibly transformational time for the planet. And so, for everyone listening, prayers are with you and stay strong. And without further ado, enjoy this full moon forecast. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Venetian Priestess. Today's video is about the Cancer full moon happening on January 13th at 2:36 p.m. PST. Just as a reminder, you don't have to watch the full video. You can skip ahead to your signs down below. Be sure to prioritize your rising sign, but also listen to your sun and your moon. And again, the timestamps to skip ahead are in the description box below. But please don't skip the intro, the beginning, where I go into the collective deep dive talking about this full moon and unpacking it. This video really should have come out sooner. I prepared the notes for it long ago, even before last week. But there's been a, delay with everything. I'm supposed to be in Los Angeles now where I live. But if you've been reading the news or if you live in LA yourself, you know what a tragedy the last week has been and just how disastrous and devastating the last week has been in Los Angeles. And if you hear it in my voice, my heart is definitely a bit heavy right now. I'm thinking of how much of that to unpack in this video astrologically. I probably will end up doing a separate video for it. It, does feel a bit weird in some ways, recording this video and releasing it when so many people in my home city are displaced now and have lost their homes. And there's just a lot of chaos, even people who haven't lost their homes. LA is burning. And anyway, not to get into that, but I think for a lot of people, understanding the astrology as we go on is an important resource because they understand how profound astrology can be. So I still want to get this video out, even if it is coming out a little bit late. But don't worry, because the events of the full moon can roll out up to 3 days after. I won't go really into that. I will just say that if you are listening and you are in the Los Angeles area, my heart goes out to you. And I have everyone in LA and LA itself in my prayers. And if you're not, and if you're somewhere else in the world, all I will say is I think a lot of people from the media just think that this is impacting, just people who are very incredibly wealthy or are just celebrities, but it's impacting people of all income brackets and it's impacting people in all ways. Even if someone hasn't lost their home, the air right now around LA is incredibly toxic. And this is going to have a socioeconomic impact in the area and a crime impact and just so much of the city, and a lot of, especially on the west side, just, it has a big impact on the daily lives of everyone there. So my heart goes out to people there. I actually grew up abroad and I was a nomad full time for a few years, but LA is the city that has been home for me and has felt like home. And it's so sad to see this happening. If you listen to my prediction video of what's coming next in November 2020, sorry, I said, my brain. If you've listened to my prediction video that came out in November about what's coming next, I mentioned that beginning of 2025, there would be natural disasters. And I also mentioned things about like government change and government collapse, as well. And I didn't think that both of those would hit so close to home for me. As you may know or guess from the name of this channel, my family is originally from the East Mediterranean, the Levant, around Syria, Lebanon. And if you follow the news there, that was accurate, and it impacted and is impacting my family there. If you're listening, sending love to you guys, love you. And the natural disaster part is impacting, my life and my friends and my family that are in California. And so, I didn't think that those predictions would hit personally so close to home. And I really recommend more than ever going back and listening to my video that came out about what's coming next. It was based on the election, but it ended up being just an overall prediction, globally for the next, even beyond this year. And if my other predictions are right, then it's 2025 on a global scale. All I will say is buckle in your seatbelts. I'll release another predictive video. But yeah, it's going to be a bumpy ride. But none of this is to spread fear, at all. I think, all of this is supposed to lead to a total rise of consciousness and an awakening in humanity. And I'll release a video more to help you ground, but I think having a spiritual connection or connection to the divine right now is incredibly important when it comes to grounding. And doing grounding practices at this time are also incredibly important, especially with what I predict will roll out in the next year, beyond the US internationally. And just zooming back up both to the big picture, but also grounding back down to the little picture. Are just so important for us to stay grounded and take things day by day. And yeah, okay. So go back and listen to that video. I highly recommend it, especially with everything happening right now. I do not mean at all to spread fear. I don't think it's about that, but I think it just helps sometimes to understand what's happening on a mass level. My talking notes for this full moon video, I wrote over 10 days ago, around New Year's. And my big note is starting off by saying that this is an intense full moon. And now that I'm reading it and it's playing out, it truly is an intense full moon. Let's jump into it. Oh, actually, I do want to say one more thing. I've seen a lot of comments on social media about, everything happening in Los Angeles is karma. And I see some people, with things happening in the Middle East. Some people are saying that this is karma for the West and karma for LA. And as someone whose family is originally from a war-torn Middle Eastern country, I can't believe I see people saying that. I mean, I understand where it can come from. I understand how a lot of, anger can build up, but I don't really think it works that way. I do think there is a thing as collective karma, but to rejoice in other people's pain or suffering. And even when people are saying, it's just celebrities, it's just wealthy people. First of all, that's not true. But second of all, to a certain extent, wealthy people in the end are just people. And a lot of people I know in LA who are incredibly successful have worked hard for their money. But it's beyond that, right? Don't get me wrong. Of course, there is so much corruption. And of course, I completely believe there is an agenda. And I do believe that a lot of powerful people or the elites, are playing out an agenda. But it's still, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. And, as Jesus said as well, turn the other cheek. And we're not practicing that when we lose empathy. And the main aim of the agenda is to have humanity lose their empathy, and the powers that be win when we lose our empathy. So I would really look within if we are ever at a point where we feel like we're losing our empathy, right? Saying that the governments in the West are having bad impact on innocent lives in the Middle East can exist in the same reality where saying that this is so sad what's happening in LA and around the world, and it's so sad, and no one deserves to lose their home. These two things are not mutually exclusive. They can exist in the same reality. Just like we can say that there is indeed an extremism problem, I believe, in a lot of the Middle East when it comes to religion. At the same time, right, innocents do not deserve to die. And so we have to teach that to people in America. They don't understand that those two things can mutually exist. And at the same time, the Western governments are indeed doing bad things in the Middle East, but that does not mean that it is deserved what is happening to innocent people anywhere in the world. So I think going to a black and white mentality, it's against all forms of spirituality. It is against all forms of increasing consciousness. Losing empathy is against all forms of that. And it is a more nuanced way of thinking to remember that two things can exist at the same time. None of this is mutually exclusive. And the media and the way that people build up hate online, it wants to make things like this seem like black and white or mutually exclusive. So just go back to humanity when it comes to all of this. This might seem very out of place in an astrological video, but why are you listening to this in the first place? Astrology is all about spirituality, and it's all about understanding the blueprints of the universe and your own life. And part of this awakening and part of even learning to understand the matrix and the programming that is our universe, that surpasses physical existence and goes deep into the spiritual and breaks the laws of physics in a way, is you'll unlock a lot of this when you understand how interconnected we are and how we are each drops in an ocean, right? And every drop comes together to make the ocean. And if we are too self-focused, then you lose a lot of the ability to manipulate these laws of the universe. And if we forget also the part of the self, and if we are too much into the collective, we go out of balance as well. So if you're here just to understand and to gain more understanding of, okay, what's this full moon going to bring for me? How can I get more love and improve my life and get more money? And I'm so curious about spirituality, or I am so uncertain and worried about how things are unfolding. Let me listen to this full moon forecast. And you can't have these granular things in the same time without zooming out to the bigger picture of spiritual lessons happening all the time. So I think it's very important to talk about these things, because even if you're on the other side of the world, maybe far away from what's happening in California, far away also what's happening in the Middle East, far away from other natural disasters or whatever, but we are all a collective. And the more that your third eye opens and the more spiritual you become and the more in tune with this you become, the more you are personally impacted by changes in frequency of the collective. They've even done studies on this. The frequency of the universe changes, the frequency of the world of Earth changes when there are big disasters happening even in one part of the world. Even if you don't consciously realize it, something in your energetic body and your subconscious shifts when there is high level of suffering on the other side of the world. And this is one of the laws of the universe, and it's important to be in tune with it. All right, okay, this has gone on way too long. Let's actually jump in now to the Cancer full moon collective forecast before going into the all signs. Okay. Before we get into the sign-by-sign forecast, let me break down exactly why this full moon is so significant and how you can work with this energy, not against it. I had two different intros to this. If you've listened to the whole video at this point, you understand why. But if not, just a quick reminder that this is for the Cancer full moon happening on January 13th, 2025 at 23 degrees of Cancer at 2:36 p.m. PST exactly. The energy of the full moon can build up to 3 days prior and last up to 4 days after, 3 to 4 days. I may have said 3 days at the beginning of this video, but deep down, I've actually noticed it's more 4 days. Okay. Full moons tend to bring actual events. I mean, I've seen that with new moons too. But I see more that events come more quick with full moons. But it could also just be internal or psychological sudden shifts or changes, especially depending on where this is hitting in your chart, but especially because Cancer is ruled by the moon, and Cancer is a water sign, which is all about emotions. And the moon itself rules our internal landscape and rules emotions. And both Cancer and the moon also talk about the feminine energy within us. And so because of that, this full moon overall tends to be very emotionally stir up. And you could feel either a big stir up in your internal world the days building up to this, or you could just be feeling very heightened emotions the days building up to this, or the actual day or the day after. That's so normal. And just, I would say, ride the wave, pay attention to what's coming up, pay attention to how you feel emotionally. But just remind yourself that it will pass. The things that are coming to the surface, don't ignore them either, but just know that it will pass. This moon will likely stir up a lot of emotions. Even if you feel it just the day of or right after. This is even more so because this moon has certain astrological alignments that I'll go through that heighten the emotions being stirred up, and that could bring fated shifts. And on top of it, if you've listened to my part about the whole global landscape at the moment and what's happening in the world and in California and how I tie it back to my prediction video earlier, you'll understand, because I go more into it, how each person, to a certain extent, some way more than others, can tap into the collective energy right now. And the state of that can further affect how emotional you might be feeling or what could be stirring up, even if it's on a subconscious level. So what is making this Cancer full moon so intense? I think it helps to understand, to kind of think of this lunation as a sort of soup, like a cosmic soup with multiple ingredients, where each aspect is blending together to create this powerful energetic mix, just like how in a soup you'll have like different vegetables and spices, and they all come together. And overall, they make up a soup. So each aspect here is kind of like a separate ingredient, right? And the fact that it's a full moon is one ingredient. The fact that it's in Cancer is one ingredient. The fact that this full moon is conjunct Mars is another ingredient, is trining Saturn is another ingredient, is opposing Pluto is another ingredient. And all together, it's making that's what makes this soup, this full moon, separate than other prior full moons in Cancer. Okay. So, this full moon is conjuncting Mars, and Mars is currently in retrograde in Cancer itself. Having Mars retrograde conjuncting a full moon is rare, and this really intensifies the emotions. Mars normally fuels action, but when it's retrograde, it's internalizing this energy, leading to emotional tension, suppressed frustration, and moments where you may feel ready to burst. So expect emotional triggers around unresolved conflicts, especially linked to family, home life, or personal boundaries. Instead of reacting impulsively, this energy encourages reflection. So sit with your feelings before making major decisions. The full moon is conjuncting Mars retrograde. It's trining Saturn in Pisces. It's opposing Pluto in Capricorn, sextiling Uranus, and also sextiling the fixed star Algol, which gets its name from Arabic Ras al-Ghul. Which if you speak Arabic, you probably just got really scared because of what that means in Arabic. Don't worry, I will talk about it. The moon is also squaring Chiron in Aries and Lilith in Leo and trining Juno in Scorpio. All of these aspects makes it a rare energy that is intensifying the emotions, that's having emotional tension, that's feeling like you may feel ready to burst. There may be a lot of emotional triggers, and it could be encouraging a lot of reflection. At the same time, there's a stabilizing influence during this emotional peak that is offering us wisdom, grounding, and emotional maturity. It can help you process emotional intensity with grace and patience. It can make things like dealing with healing family wounds or setting healthy emotional boundaries an outcome after the outbursts. With moon opposing Pluto and Capricorn here, this points to an emotional power struggle and deep emotional truth surfacing. Secrets, unspoken fears, or suppressed feelings could be revealed. Truths could be revealed. So if you really cared for someone and you thought they really cared for you, you could have a truth or realization that in fact shows you they did not care for you. Pluto is really encouraging transformation through release. So expect emotional intensity, but also an opportunity to shed old patterns. Like I said, the moon is sextiling Uranus and the fixed star of Algol, Ras al-Ghul, which Uranus itself is conjuncting. I'm going to make a video all on this because I think that's really affecting a lot of the world and what's happening in the world right now, including the fires and the wars and everything. But how it affects with the moon sextiling it, that brings it back to our emotions and our internal world. So when it comes to this moon, expect emotional breakthroughs, sudden clarity, or unexpected events related to personal healing, or that shake up your life. Uranus really shakes things up, while Algol, Ras al-Ghul, is linked with facing shadows and transformation, and it adds a layer of deep emotional awakening. With the moon's aspect to Chiron and Lilith, there could be emotional triggers linked to old wounds, especially around self-worth, rejection, or vulnerability. You may feel emotionally raw, but this energy also offers deep healing if you choose to face these emotions and that discomfort face on. And the trine to Juno and Scorpio is bringing beautiful, emotional, supportive energy when it comes to healing emotional wounds or in relationships or breakthroughs in relationships, and moments of vulnerability that could strengthen partnerships. Really imagine this full moon like a boiling pot of emotions. This energy has been simmering beneath the surface and now it's at its emotional peak. So this lunation definitely feels intense, but it's also cleansing and illuminating. And this full moon is really inviting you to release emotional baggage, to heal past patterns, to confront suppressed feelings instead of ignoring them, and to balance emotional vulnerability with emotional strength, and to give you clarity in situations that have felt confusing or unresolved, and to give you an opportunity to finally resolve them or close them. In terms of physical impact of the body, Cancer rules the stomach, the breast, the womb, the ovaries, the lymphatic system, and emotional digestion. So if you're very sensitive, or if this moon is hitting you extra strong, you may feel this physically as well, as tightness in the stomach or chest. There could be emotional eating patterns. You could be feeling extra sensitive or prone to mood swings. And there could be a heightened need for nurturing spaces and emotional care. Remember that these parts of the body I listed are more sensitive under a Cancer moon, so treat your body more gently during this time. Here's how this cosmic suit could actually show up in real life. Emotional releases. In personal relationship, expect truths to resurface, even messy ones. Breakthrough conversations that could affect family dynamics or unresolved emotional patterns or close friendships or personal relationships. Sudden endings or culminations in areas you've outgrown. This could be confrontational or external, or it could be even on your own if you decide to block someone or cut them off, or you have an aha moment that brings you some kind of conclusion. I tend to use relationships as an example, but these sudden endings or culminations don't have to be with interpersonal relationships like family or love or friends. It can come with things in your life. It could come with other things like dreams or projects or jobs or homes or issues, etc. You could be feeling emotionally reactive, but also have clarity afterwards. There could be power struggles or confrontations that finally bring closure. There's a sense of spiritual clarity, a deep knowing of what you're ready to release. Really, this moon is an emotional checkpoint, and it's a chance to release the past and heal and prepare for the next chapter. Full moons are always about culminations and revelations and endings. But this one with Mars retrograde is also really encouraging in a reflection before outward action. Now, remember that before you listen to your all signs, that the rising sign tends to be most accurate for timing, the sun sign tends to be most accurate for life themes, and the moon sign tends to be most accurate for emotional impact. So listen to your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign. If you're new to astrology, the rising sign is also the ascendant. Okay, now jumping into Aries. Hi, Aries, suns, moons, and risings. This wolf moon, the full moon in Cancer, is happening on January 13th, 2025 at 23 degrees of Cancer at 2:36 p.m. PST. And it is the first full moon of the year, and it carries powerful emotional energy for healing, release, and clarity. Make sure to watch the intro and the collective section for all the unique aspects that make this full moon different. And I tell you as well how you can work with this energy, not against it. Okay. Sorry, I'm congested, so I might sound a bit hard to understand more than other videos. All right, so Mars retrograde is also conjunct this full moon. Since Mars Aries is actually your chart ruler, and this for you is emotional intensity completely being heightened. Mars retrograde internalizes energy. So instead of external conflicts, you might be feeling frustration building within, especially related to family dynamics, old emotional wounds, and unresolved patterns around security and belonging. There could be suppressed anger or unspoken issues that are boiling over. And Aries, you already boil over a lot. So this is like extra boiling over. This could be especially in situations that are tied to your home life, your family life, or emotional foundations. Expect emotional breakthroughs as well around self-worth, personal boundaries, and ancestral patterns. Aries, in a lot of my predictions, I don't just consider the house. I am considering all the different aspects and rulerships and everything. A lot of that I talked about in the intro, in terms of the collective. But just know that the predictions you hear here are literally considering so many different aspects that could be affecting this full moon. Okay, so for you, Aries, how this energy could manifest. Emotional power struggles. There could be tension between your personal life and career ambitions, and your home life and your career, your family life and your career, or your goals and your dreams. And this can somehow come to a head. Questions like, are you sacrificing emotional well-being for professional success, or playing small because of unresolved family wounds? There's emotional wisdom that could be emerging. Saturn's supportive energy could help you find stability. This could manifest as clarity from therapy or journaling or deep spiritual reflection. You could have breakthroughs in self-worth. Uranus's influence could, bring sudden clarity around how you're valued, especially in relationships or career. There could be emotional breakthroughs that could unlock self-confidence. You could be revisiting childhood wounds. Old family patterns could resurface, which could prompt deep healing work. There could be intense emotional release and possible emotional outbursts or anger or tears that could clear long-held frustrations and emotions. There could be sudden shifts in your career or life focus. Emotional clarity could shift your ambitions or could shift how you balance home versus work life, emotional life versus work life, family life versus work life. And you could have physical shifts, a desire to renovate your home or to relocate or to have a new place, or something could cause some kind of upheaval with the home part or like living situation. And this could create a more nurturing or more aligned or emotional space. Overall, Aries, this full moon is deeply personal for you. It wants you to pause, to reflect, and to feel. And emotional clarity is coming, even if it feels overwhelming at first. The shifts you're feeling now are really meant to clear space for more authentic emotional security. Hi Taurus, suns, moons, and risings. This wolf moon, the full moon in Cancer, is happening on January 13th at 23 degrees of Cancer at 2:36 p.m. PST, and it is the first full moon of the year. The energy is building up 3 days before and up to 4 days after, and it brings emotional clarity for you around communication, mindset, and relationships with siblings and community. Make sure to watch the collective section for all the unique aspects influencing this full moon and how to work with this energy in your personal life. All the predictions and understandings for your own sign in terms of how this is going to roll out is not just based on the basic application of the full moon in your chart, but I'm considering all of the aspects that I list at the beginning, and your rulership and all other things very deeply in my predictions. Okay? So, we also have Mars retrograde conjuncting this full moon. So with Mars retrograding in your third house of communication and thought patterns, misunderstandings could surface. You may feel frustration while trying to express yourself, or you might be feeling unheard. Watch for emotional outbursts in conversations, especially with siblings, close friends, or neighbors. Unresolved tensions could lead to a breaking point. Overthinking may amplify your emotional triggers and could cause inner restlessness or feeling mentally scattered. How this energy could manifest for you. Emotional conversations. A long overdue heart-to-heart could bring clarity in a relationship, but could feel intense at first. You could have breakthroughs in communication. Hidden thoughts or emotions could surface, helping you express yourself more authentically. You could have sudden realizations, so expect mental clarity about how you process emotions and communicate your needs. Sibling or friendships could experience tension. Old issues with a sibling or close friend could resurface for healing or resolution or conclusion. You could reflect on learning. You may reevaluate how you gather information or shift your mindset about personal growth, or have some kind of culmination or breakthrough with some kind of learning or academic or certification process that you've gone on. You could be feeling overstimulated. You could be experiencing emotional overwhelm from too much mental activity, too much planning, too much getting stuck in the information gathering process, too much thinking, or multitasking could arise, which could have you having racing thoughts, and it could really slow down. This moon's message for you is really to explore the power of your thoughts and your words, and of information and of learning. And for others, it could be also siblings. Emotional clarity is arriving, so be honest but gentle with yourself and with others as you navigate all of these revelations and culminations and emotions. If tension rises in conversations, remember to stay grounded, and overall it's guiding you towards healing and closures and the next cycle in your life. Hi Geminis, suns, moons, and risings. This wolf moon, the full moon in Cancer, is happening on January 13th, 2025 at 23 degrees of Cancer at 2:36 p.m. PST. And for you, it's bringing clarity, whether it's emotional clarity or real life clarity or culminations around finances, self-worth, and personal resources. Be sure to check the collective section for the key aspects that are influencing this powerful lunation. I go into detail listing each key aspects and how to navigate its energy effectively at the beginning. Here, I won't list them all, but I am considering all of them, and I used all of them to come for the predictions for this video. So, for you, with Mars retrograde conjuncting full moon happening in your second house, you might feel frustrated around finances or personal stability. There could be delays or tension around income, payments, or financial security that could arise. You could experience self-doubt or question your value, especially if your efforts feel underappreciated. There could be a peak in financial tension, so money matters could feel emotionally charged. There could be an unexpected bill, delay, or financial truth that could surface. You could have self-worth clarity. There could be realizations about how you value yourself that could lead to powerful emotional breakthroughs, or realizations about what your values really are and how much of how you've been prioritizing things in your life do align or don't align with that. There could be old financial patterns returning or resurfacing. A past financial issue or money-related habit could resurface for review or closure. There could be emotional spending triggers. So be mindful of impulse spending driven by emotional stress, or be mindful of the sudden emotionally led financial decision. Stay grounded and think first before making decisions like that. There could be sudden income opportunities. An unexpected financial shift could open up, but might feel emotionally overwhelming at first. You could be redefining stability. So you might feel called to simplify, to cut unnecessary expenses, or to refocus on what truly matters for long-term security. Overall, Gemini, this Cancer full moon is illuminating your relationship with money and your self-worth and your net worth. But how it works in spirituality is it's not about finances. In spirituality, your assets and your money and how much money you make and how much you're worth is directly tied to how you value yourself emotionally and spiritually and your own self-worth. So emotional clarity is coming here to restructure your sense of abundance from within to without, as above, so below. Hi Cancer, Cancer suns, moons, and risings. This full moon in Cancer is known as the wolf moon, and it's happening on January 13th, 2025 at 23 degrees of Cancer at 2:36 p.m. PST. And for you, Cancer, it is a deeply personal full moon for you because it's occurring in your first house of Cancer and the first house of self, identity, and personal expression. Expect powerful emotional clarity and energy and drive and possible culminations and endings and beginnings around who you are and how you show up in the world. Check the intro in the collective section for the key aspects that make this an especially transformative full moon and how to harness this energy. I list all of the unique aspects at the beginning. I'm not going to go through and list each one now, but just know that my predictions and forecasts are coming based off of all of these aspects, not just the basic understanding of what house is affected, but it goes into multiple factors. Okay, so for you, Cancer, with Mars retrograde tightly conjuncting this full moon in your first house, there could be a lot of emotional intensity that may feel amplified. You could feel frustrated or on edge, especially regarding self-expression, self-view, confidence, how you're being perceived, self-esteem. There could be unresolved identity wounds or past emotional patterns that might surface, pushing you towards self-discovery and healing. You could be really feeling like you want a glow up, or you could be really feeling frustrated about how your external self, your appearance, how you physically manifest in this world is a reflection of what you really want for your internal self. You could be having breakthroughs, whether emotional or otherwise, when it comes to self-identity. You might feel a sudden release of emotional pressure, leading to clarity about your authentic self. You could be feeling highly sensitive, so expect heightened emotional awareness, tears, breakthroughs, or moments of deep self-reflection. You could be letting go of an old identity. A chapter of your self-perception could be closing, especially if you've been holding on to outdated beliefs around yourself, who you are, your appearance. There could be physical shifts that are stirring because of all of this emotional and internal stuff. So this could be a spark for self-care changes, including how you present yourself or how you treat yourself or your body. This could spark you trying new things with your appearance, with your diet, with how you dress yourself, with all of the above, with your routines. Like you could be wanting a total transformation and glow up. You could be having emotional confrontations. Someone from your past could mirror old emotional patterns, triggering a need for closure. You could be having a confidence transformation. Feelings of self-doubt may peak, but will pave the way for renewed self-worth and authenticity. This Cancer full moon feels like a personal rebirth for you. It's calling you to shed old layers of who you've been and step into a more empowered version of yourself, and to revamp your I am, your identity. Embrace this moment of emotional clarity and of transformation of your sense of self, because it's guiding you towards, honestly, some kind of a glow up and deeper self-acceptance and more personal freedom. Hi, Leos, suns, moons, and risings. This wolf moon, the full moon in Cancer, is happening on January 13th at 23 degrees of Cancer at 2:36 p.m. PST, but you'll feel the energy up to 4 days after, and the events can unroll up to 4 days after, but the build-up could be felt up to 3 days before. And for you, it's lighting up your 12th house of endings, healing, spirituality, and the subconscious. This deeply reflective moon is inviting emotional closure. Check the collective section at the beginning for all of the aspects that make this full moon intense and how to work with it. I'm not going to list them all in the sign by sign, but I will. All of my predictions for the all signs is taking all of the different multi-layer factors into consideration. Okay, so for you, this Mars retrograde that's conjuncting this full moon happening in your 12th house could stir emotional unrest from the past, including suppressed feelings and hidden fears. You may feel frustrated with emotional patterns that seem stuck or unresolved, leading to internal tension. There could be old cycles of self-sabotage or negative self-talk or hard mental health that could surface, which is inviting you to release them for good. You could have a sudden urge to let go of deep emotional burdens or unresolved pain. Hidden truths or secrets could be revealed. You could experience intuitive insights that uncover subconscious patterns or emotional truths that you've avoided. This could be triggering a spiritual awakening. So you could have moments of clarity during meditation, dreams, or quiet reflection could offer profound healing, or honestly, a mental health low, or moments of deep isolation, or some kind of an ending could trigger these moments of profound healing or spiritual awakening. You could be healing things from the past, whether an old emotional wound or a karmic pattern or some kind of trauma or fear could resurface for final closure. You could be having feelings of isolation, a desire of alone time, or a lot of just overall isolation, or you know, to process all of these intense emotions and happenings, and this could lead to you finding clarity. You could have a release from emotional fears or from hidden fears. Emotional clarity around self-limiting beliefs that have held you captive and held you back from personal growth could come and could lead to some kind of culmination and new start. For you, Cancer, this full moon is inviting you, for you, Leo, this Cancer full moon is inviting you to have deep emotional healing and to release old patterns. It might feel intense, but trust that the emotional clarity is guiding you towards spiritual growth and renewal. So embrace this as a time to clear emotional baggage and to step into a lighter, more authentic version of yourself. Hi Virgos, suns, moons, and risings. This wolf moon, the full moon in Cancer, is happening on January 13th, 2025 at 23 degrees of Cancer at 2:36 p.m. PST. And the effect or the event that unroll because of it will happen up to 4 days after, but you might be feeling, especially with this one, very emotionally riled up to 3 days before. Check the collective section for all the unique aspects that make this full moon so significant and how you can work with its energy for emotional growth. I list all of them at the beginning and I explain them a bit more. I don't list them like aspect by aspect down here, but just know that each sign's detailed predictions and forecasts are using all of these different aspects to think of how the energy could manifest for you. Okay, so expect tension around friendships, group dynamics, your community, or collaborations. Emotional triggers could arise if you've been feeling undervalued or misunderstood in your social circles. Past conflicts with friends or old dynamics may resurface for healing or closure. You could be reevaluating friendships. You could be having friendship revelations. You could be having emotional clarity about true friendships. Oh my God, this is me. I have a Virgo stellium, and my moon is actually in Virgo. And as I'm reading my notes that I wrote last week, I'm like, wait, this is happening to me. Okay, anyway, some bonds may strengthen while others could fade away. You could also be spending a lot of time with friends that you haven't seen in a while, and it could be making you reevaluate, wow, I really like these friends, and it's making me reevaluate who my friends really are and who my friends really aren't. You could have had something in your life that could have brought up all these truths about what friendship means to you, what friendship compatibility looks like for you, what type of friendships work for you, what friendships you've outgrown, what friends have outgrown you, who's really your friend, who really cares about you, etc. Anyway, some bonds may strengthen while other bonds could fade. You could be having conflicts in group settings. Maybe some kind of arguments could break out in group settings, or there could be tension within collaborations or team projects that could surface, especially unresolved issues. There could be emotional distance somehow being taken. You could have a desire to pull back and reassess your social life, questioning whether certain groups align with your values. You could have a renewed vision for the future and for your dreams, or you could feel like, because of the Mars retrograde impact and the intensity of this full moon, you could feel like that there's some kind of a stall in your dreams and a stall in your vision. But this stall feeling is temporary. This negativity you might be feeling around your dreams is temporary. I think there will be an emotional breakthrough coming from it, and some kind of suddenly retrigger for it around your long-term goals. And maybe this stall is to ask you what truly matters for your growth. You could be letting go of superficial bonds and getting clarity around energy draining connections, leading to emotional release. You could be reconnecting with old friends. Someone from your past may re-enter, or you may feel drawn to revisit a past collaboration even. This Cancer full moon overall for you, Virgo, is shining a light on who you surround yourself with, what community means, what friendship means, and how these relationships impact you and your emotional well-being, and could also be shining a light on your dreams and your goals and your long-term goals. So trust that clarity is arriving one way or another, even if it's coming through the point of some kind of ending or upheaval. Hi Libra suns, moons, and risings. This wolf moon, which is the full moon in Cancer, is happening on January 13th at 23 degrees of Cancer. At 2:36 p.m. PST, it is the first full moon of the Gregorian New Year. I need to cut that out. I've stopped editing, but that tongue slip when I said Georgian instead of Gregorian, I think needs to be edited out. Okay, anyway. And the events, the endings, the culminations, the emotional intensity, all of it can be up to 4 days after. And for some people, you could really be feeling it up to 3 days before. Please check the collective section at the beginning for all the unique aspects influencing this full moon and how to harness this energy for empowerment. I do not list them in the all signs because then my readings would be like, this video would be like 3 hours long. But just know that all of my predictions and my forecasting are incredibly the techniques used for it are incredibly cohesive, and consider everything from rulership to aspects to everything. Okay, so this full moon for you could be bringing emotional intensity or culminations or endings or changes related to your career, your public standing, leadership in your life, leadership, and your goals. You could have frustration around delayed progress in work, professional recognition, or leadership roles may arise for you. You could have unresolved authority issues with a boss, a parent, or a figure of power that could resurface somehow for closure or clarity. You could have career realizations, sudden emotional clarity around your career path. Are you truly fulfilled, or is it time to shift directions? You could have what feels like a stagnation in your career goals or what you were planning on achieving or your career projects. There could be some kind of authority conflict, so tensions with figures of authority, with your job, with your admin, whatever could feel heightened, perhaps linked to power struggles or emotional wounds. There could be some kind of public recognition, unexpected visibility or public feedback could bring clarity on how you're perceived professionally. You could be freaking out about the career trajectory or career path that you're on. Don't lose hope. All of this, what feels like upheaval, is happening for a reason. You could be having some things coming up that could force you to balance work and home life. Emotional pressure could be building up to find balance between professional ambitions and personal emotional needs. Old career themes could be resurfacing. Past professional situations or unfinished projects may return for resolution. Old goals that were never accomplished, or old dreams, or old fears, or old worries, or old self-destructive patterns could be resurfacing. You could be feeling just frustrated at the personal costs that you've paid for a career, and you could be kind of reevaluating the balance. Let's see. You could be releasing external validation. So you could be letting go of seeking external approval in career matters and focusing on internal growth. You could be planning out your blueprint and have a sudden focus on career energy, but something about that might be stalling to kind of cause you to look at what may need to be relooked at or reworked that you could possibly be overlooking. Overall, this Cancer full moon is revealing emotional truths or bringing culminations or need for restructuring when it comes to your career, your purpose, leadership, your public image, and how that balances in your life, what home means to you, what emotional stability means to you when it balances with career and all of that stuff. It's asking you to realign your ambitions with your emotional authenticity. So trust that any culmination, any ending, any emotional clarity, any stagnation that is coming now is guiding you towards something greater. Hi, Scorpio. Scorpio sun, Scorpio moon, Scorpio risings. I love Scorpios. Scorpios love me. I have a lot of Scorpio in my chart. It is a mutual adoration. You guys get such bad rap, but I think Scorpio is the most misunderstood sign in the entire zodiac. Okay, so Scorpios. This wolf moon, the full moon in Cancer, is happening on January 13th, 2025 at 23 degrees of Cancer, at 2:36 p.m. PST to be exact. However, the events unfolding or the emotions around it are active for up to 4 days after and felt up to 3 days prior if you're very sensitive. If you can, please check out the collective section at the beginning for a list of all the unique aspects that influence this powerful full moon and how you can work with this energy, and for other stuff, because this video went wild a little bit. Anyway, I won't list each aspect and each factor that I'm looking at for this full moon in your sign by sign portion, because then my videos would be hours long. But please know that I consider all of it when I make my predictions. So this is a very cohesive methodology that I have. Okay, so for you, this full moon could be stirring up frustration around your personal growth, your spirituality, your education, your travel, and for some people, immigration. And your life view, your philosophical view, etc. You could be feeling emotionally restless. You could be questioning your belief system. You could be questioning your life path direction. You could be questioning the state of the world. You could be questioning all of this bigger stuff. You could be having, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I've been through this, so I understand. Okay. You could be having a spiritual awakening or confrontation with old limiting beliefs that could bring emotional clarity. Just know that everything is really going to be fine. And I think when people go through what you could be going through, it's because you don't know how good it is for you in the end. I think that when I subconsciously had that moment of kind of an exasperated laugh, it was actually because I have been through that. And I know that when this part of your chart gets hit in a way like this, and the emotions come up like this, it actually is so powerful and so good for you. And I was just remembering when it happened to me, and these moments in your life are bigger than it might seem at the moment and lead to profound awakening, right? And profound clarity. For you, this energy could manifest with sudden clarity in beliefs. These breakthroughs, whether emotional or otherwise, around your personal philosophy, your belief system, your view of the world, your spirituality, could shed outdated perspectives. Any travel insights or emotional revelations or changes linked to travel experience or international connections could happen at this time. There could be a delay in travel, education, or immigration plans. Plans for learning or personal growth may feel stalled, but clarity will soon emerge. This is so for some people, this could be more of the travel, foreign, immigration, education aspect. For others, it could be more of the profound kind of deeper life, philosophical, spiritual view. There could be, for some people, emotional interactions or deep interactions with mentors or teachers, or even if it's one-on-one personal or people you watch or listen to, that could inspire new perspective. You could be having a crisis of faith, questioning long-held spiritual, emotional, political world beliefs or views, or emotional patterns tied to personal growth. You could be having some kind of breakthrough or emotional breakthrough from learning, whether it's reading documentaries or someone you watch or things that happen that shift your worldview. For you, Scorpio, this Cancer full moon is calling you to expand your mind and your heart, and your spirituality and your views. Emotional clarity is surfacing to help you release limiting beliefs and to help you open yourself to a broader, more aligned, more truthful, more embodied perspective. So trust that this cycle is guiding you towards personal transformation. Hi Sagittarius, suns, moons, and risings. This wolf moon, the full moon in Cancer, is happening on January 13th, 2025 at 23 degrees of Cancer, exactly at 2:36 p.m. PST, and it is the first full moon of the year. It's a deeply emotional and transformative lunation, and it could bring profound clarity for you. And any culminations, any endings, any emotional kind of stirrings ups could happen and unfold up to 4 days after. And if you're very sensitive to this full moon or to full moons in general, you could be feeling it, or you could have felt it up to 3 days prior. Please check the collective section at the beginning for all the different aspects that influence this unique full moon, and to know how to harness this transformative energy. I won't list all of the aspects one by one here because that would make my videos hours long. But please know that I consider all of these and more in my very intense methodology to come up with these predictions. Okay. So, this full moon for you could stir emotional intensity around trust, intimacy, trauma, sex, shared resources, shared finances, death and rebirth, etc. There could be hidden power dynamics in relationships that may come up and come to the surface. Emotional frustration or resurfaced wounds could that are tied to past relationships or financial entanglements could feel heightened. There could be some kind of a birth in your life or a death in real life. I mean this metaphorically, but this could also be quite literal. There could be some kind of butterfly, caterpillar, phoenix rising, ashes, from the ashes energy in your life right now. Some kind of chaos feeling energy could be leading to a rebirth. There's really emotional healing that could be experienced by some of you. A significant emotional release or breakthrough related to past relationships or to personal power dynamics or to intimacy or to trauma could be happening. I'm really hoping that for some of you, this emotional healing. There could be financial clarity for some of you happening, emotional truths or real life truths or culminations or endings around shared finances, around debts, around loans, around financial dependencies could surface. Whether you're depending on someone or someone is depending on you, or you're sharing finances with someone. This could be parents, partner. This could be business loans. This could be business partnerships. This could be taxes as well. There could be intimacy or intimate transformations. So you could have deep emotional conversations or relations with a partner that could lead to greater vulnerability to expose unresolved tensions, or that could have healing or profound deepening. This could also happen on your own, or some kind of trigger could trigger this. You could be letting go a lot. This lunation is prompting you to release emotional attachments to people or situations that no longer align with your growth. You could be experiencing new levels of boundary setting. This moon could be bringing a spiritual awakening, because the 8th house often brings transformative insights when it comes to spirituality as well. So expect profound clarity around personal healing, spirituality, or deeply spiritual moments. For some few of you, there could be a hidden truth, a hidden emotional truth, or a hidden secret about family dynamic or inheritance or family issue or money issue that could be revealed. Overall, this full moon is calling you to explore depth and transformation. So trust that whatever is arising or ending or coming to the surface is about healing, letting go, or facing some kind of a truth. And no matter which one of those it is, you're being really kind of guided to reclaim your personal power. Hi Capricorns, Capricorn suns, moons, and risings. This wolf moon, the full moon in Cancer, happening on January 13th, 2025 at 23 degrees of Cancer, exactly at 2:36 p.m. PST, is the first full moon of the year, and it is an intense one. It is very emotionally charged. This could be bringing endings, clarity, breakthroughs, culminations, or emotional upheavals for you and for most people in some way or another. Please check out the collective section at the beginning for all of the key aspects, because there are a bunch that are influencing this full moon and making it intense, and how to work with this energy. In this portion of the video, I'm not going to list each one out, because that would make my video like hours long. But please know that my own process for predictions and forecasting takes all of these and more: rulerships, houses, signs, aspects, all of this stuff, multiple things into account. Listen to the beginning to know what those are, but just know that the prediction is like very holistic and cohesive. Okay, so this full moon could be amplifying emotional tension, or it could be bringing some kind of clarity or breakthrough moment, or forcing an event for you when it comes to partnerships. Partnerships, romantic partnerships, life partnerships, business collaborations included. Old relationship wounds or unspoken conflicts may resurface for healing, for closure, or for forcing you to some kind of a decision. You could have a sense of emotional frustration in your close connections that could lead to important conversations. You could be having, this moon could be forcing relationship clarity. So emotional truths may surface around the state of your partnerships, whether romantic, business, or very, very close friendships. You could be having a breakthrough or a breakup. This full moon may either deepen emotional intimacy or highlight imbalances needing resolution, or if you've made a mistake when it comes to relationships, this could be bringing it up to you, or if someone has been wronging you, this could be bringing it up to some kind of culmination. You could be revisiting past relationship themes. Old patterns of conflict or past partners could reemerge, whether actually externally reemerge, or they could be reemerging in your psyche. And that could be coming up for emotional clarity. You might be feeling very emotionally vulnerable or emotionally up and down. You may feel the need to open up emotionally or finally express feelings you've been suppressing. There could be decisions about commitment coming to the surface. A relationship could reach a turning point, either deepening or ending for good. You could be having self-reflection through others. Relationships will often mirror your own emotional growth and will reveal lessons about self-worth and emotional security. Overall, for you, Capricorn, this Cancer full moon is asking you to reflect deeply on your closest connections. Are they truly fulfilling? Are they built on emotional honesty and balance? Have you wronged someone in some way? Is there someone that that needs to come to the surface for you to help fix or clear up? Or is there someone that needs to be cut, etc.? Either way, emotional clarity is rising. So trust what comes to the surface and honor your truth in relationships. Hi Aquarius, suns, moons, and risings. This wolf moon, the full moon in Cancer, is happening on January 13th, 2025. I was about to say 2023. I do not know why. at 2:36 p.m. PST at 23 degrees of Cancer, and it is the first full moon of the year. Please check out the collective section at the beginning for all the key aspects influencing this full moon and how you can work with this energy. All of those aspects right now, including the state of the ruler, is leading to a very intense full moon. I list all of them at the beginning, and I won't list them here in this section, but just know that I consider all of these things in my very extensive analysis process that comes up with my predictions for you and for each sign. Okay, so this full moon specifically could be stirring up frustrations around your health, your daily routine, your physical self, your energy levels, or your work-life balance. You could be having emotional burnout or overcommitment that could become clear, pushing you to reassess your self-care and productivity. There could be unresolved tension related to health issues or neglected wellness routines that may resurface for attention. You could be having health revelations and emotional clarity about your self-care habits, your fitness, your physical routine, your wellness routine, or the need for rest. There could be some kind of work tension or daily life work tension that is bringing some kind of emotional shift around work environments or how you're managing your daily responsibilities. There could be burnout awareness, so emotional exhaustion that may highlight the need to prioritize rest and recharge. You could be having a routine overhaul, a sudden realization that your daily habits are either supporting or hindering your well-being. There could be an emotional stress culmination or release. You may feel called to process emotional tension through physical activities like yoga or movement practices or a fitness routine. There could be shifts in work-life balance. A reevaluation of boundaries between personal life and personal commitments could be here. Overall, this Cancer full moon is asking you to slow down and check in with your emotional and physical well-being. Are you balancing your self-care with your daily responsibilities and daily life? And all of this, whether it's a culmination, an ending, or emotional clarity or emotional upheaval, is rising to help you find a healthier, more sustainable rhythm in your life. Saving the best for last. Hi Pisces, Pisces suns, moons, and risings. This full moon in Cancer, which is a wolf moon, is happening on January 13th, 2025, exactly at 2:36 p.m. PST at 23 degrees of Cancer, and it is the first full moon of the year. This emotional moon could be bringing breakthroughs or endings or culminations for you. Please check out the collective section for all the key aspects influencing this intense full moon and how to use its energy for personal fulfillment. I list all of the different aspects there, but please know that I'm not going to list them here because it would make my videos hours long. But I'm considering all of them and more, and the rulership of this full moon and so many different factors in my extensive process that I use to forecast and to predict. Okay, so for you, this could be amplifying emotional intensity or bringing culminations or endings around romantic relationships, creative projects, personal joy, things you create, your inner child, and for some people, children in your life. There may be frustration with feeling blocked creatively or emotionally when it comes to self-expression, creation, entrepreneurship, or romance. Emotional truths around self-worth and how you express your desires could surface for healing or clarity. You could be blocking someone, ending it with someone, or or you could be going through some kind of a breakup or ending of either a situationship or a relationship or a fling or someone you were even just talking to. Or this could be just from your side where you decide to cut them off, or you have clarity about what you really meant to them or what they really meant to you, take away lessons and cut them off and decide to turn a page. Or it could be something more, like actually involving two people where it's like an ending or a breakup or things like that. And this could, you could really just overall have romantic clarity. So emotional breakthroughs around romantic dynamics, realizations, lessons, understandings of if you're fully being seen or if a relationship has felt emotionally imbalanced. There could be creative breakthroughs. Inspiration could return, or you could feel drawn to finish old creative projects. There could be entrepreneurial breakthroughs as well when it comes to this, in terms of your own entrepreneurial goals or things you're creating yourself. You could be experiencing emotional vulnerability in romance. If you're dating, this full moon could highlight emotional truths about what you truly desire in love and what truly matters to you. Past loves could resurface, so old romantic patterns or even past loves may reappear for emotional clarity or for closure. Parenting or inner child healing could come up. So emotional themes or life changes could come when it comes to you, when it has to do with children or your children's lives, if you have children, or speaking metaphorically, your inner child wounds may arise for healing if you don't have any children, or if you're not planning on it. You could have joyful realizations and emotional clarity about what it truly means for you when it comes to joy, and this could urge you to reconnect with pleasure and with fun and with joy. If you are wanting to start a family, it could feel like there's a slowing down in that process somehow. This Cancer full moon overall is illuminating your heart space, your connection with joy, whether it's creativity, creation, love, romance, your inner child, children. And these emotional truths or possible combinations or endings or aha moments are surfacing to help you reconnect with what makes you feel truly alive. So release fears of vulnerability and really allow yourself to be seen and expressed. And even if some of these endings or combinations come with a lot of emotions, just know that it's coming up for a reason, okay? And none of it's an accident. And take the lesson that is here and know that it's all happening for your good overall.